in this case, just watch the beginning of the recording. So hello, everyone. Today we are speaking English as our guest, Nyasha, is going to present us some new way or just some other way for you to be able to get some more insights, some new ideas, knowledge, and so on in HR field. So we are in a new partnership. I think all of you have already seen the message about this. And I hope this partnership will just give you some opportunity to get the global knowledge in HR field. So Nyasha, today the floor is yours. I'm not taking the time, so please tell us the most exciting things and everything we'll need to know about the platform.
Sure, awesome. Thank you so much for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Really appreciate you all taking the time to come to this quick session on why we're in partnership and who we are as an academy. I'll just start off by sharing my screen because I have a question to you all. Okay. I believe you can see my slides now, right?
Yes, we do.
Fantastic. So the first question I'd really like to ask you guys is, what do you see in this picture? I cannot see the chat function, so I think you guys are going to have to unmute and just be interactive for that. So okay. No answers are wrong, but just curious to hear what you see.
I can see a woman.
A woman?
A woman face, yes.
Ah, interesting.
Actually, me too. I see a woman and she's lying, I don't know, on a bed or something.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
The same, lying woman.
Lying woman, okay. Anyone else see something apart from a woman? I'll give it a while and no, okay. That's very interesting that you saw a woman. If I'm correct, is this like the nose and then the chin? Or do you see the woman somewhere totally different?
Yes, in this place.
Okay. Okay, surprisingly, what if I told you this was a picture of a cow? Can you see the image now?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, for anyone a bit still in doubt, I'll add a bit more details. Hopefully you can see the cow now. And by now, if you can't see the cow, then I think you need glasses. So it's a picture of a cow. And it makes sense. It makes complete sense why most people cannot see the picture itself when it fully forms, because there's a lot of areas to pay attention to. So for instance, you can see a different image, such as a woman over there, which is a good argument. But you could also think, okay, is that an ear? Is that a nose? Is that an eye? And it's just like a lot to take into. But similar to this image, the goal of today's session is to see if we can also have clarity into why AIHR and PVPA partnered up in the first place. So hopefully by the end of today's session, you can also see the cow, which is our partnership. So a bit about us. But before I get into who we are as an academy, a bit about myself. My name is Nyasha. I'm one of the partner managers here at AIHR. I'm directly involved with PVPA, so I work closely with Elsa and Renata to really make this partnership a success. Who we are as an academy and why we've partnered with PVPA is we very much share the same mission. I tried as best as I could to pronounce it in Lithuanian, but that was going to be an absolute fail. So I translated it to English, and it translates to progress the profession of personnel management. Did I get that correct, Elsra, or am I off?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay, fantastic. And that's very much linked to who we are as an academy as well. As our mission is to future-proof the evolution of HR. And how we go about doing this is by providing practical and in-depth HR-specific training that's globally accredited by Sherman HRCI to thousands of HR professionals worldwide. The reason why we exist or why we came into existence is we're a little over 5 years old now. How it started was with a blog from one of our founders. He started a blog on analytics in HR, which is a new space. It grew a lot of traction. People loved the reading, but they kept asking, do you provide training on this? Do you teach this as well? And from there, they created the first course and eventually became the academy we are today. Why we still exist is because from recent surveys, 87% of organizations are facing a skills gap now or within the next 5 years. And 2021 alone already showed that over 50% of HR employees need to be or upskilled. How we go about addressing this is by focusing on our philosophy, which is where the future of HR is heading in 2025 and beyond, and that's being T-shaped. So is anyone familiar with this concept of a T-shaped HR professional? Take the silence as a no. So happy to explain it. So it's no longer sufficient enough to only have functional competencies. They're still very important since that's the area of specialization, but you need to build more on top of these functional competencies. So if you think of a functional competence, think of your L&D specialist, compensation and benefit specialist, your HR business partner. How we see the future of HR progressing is by developing competence within these 4 other key areas on top of the T. So that is being data-driven, being able to make data-driven decisions and using data to drive the decision-making process. This involves using those insights to actually make sense of what you're seeing and also to forecast certain predictions throughout the HR function. Having business acumen, so being able to be a true strategic partner to the business. This is where HR rightfully gets its seat at the table as they're able to speak the language of the business and drive business value from an HR perspective. Having digital integration, which is the third component, and this is just being tech savvy, being able to leverage today's technology to make HR more efficient and effective, and the organization as a whole as well. And more importantly, being a people's advocate, something HR has always been good at. So creating the right experiences, the right cultures, the right journeys for the employees, and always having employees at the heart of the experience. So building complete functions and competencies within these areas would make you a T-shaped HR professional. I'm curious to know, once I've just introduced this concept to you, which skills do you need to work on most? I would say if you could type A, B, C, D in the chat function. I cannot see it myself, but I think Renata and Ausra will help me with a few shout outs.
We see some A's.
Okay, data driven. Popular one always.
We also see some E.
Okay, functional competence, the area of specialization, indeed. Any B, C, or D?
We don't have many people here, but I believe if we had at least 100 HR people, yeah. So we had all the letters.
Yeah, that's perfect, and that's a great start, because for us, it's one thing, having a philosophy or having a vision where you see the future of HR is, and very much building learning around that to really make it in-depth, practical, and experiential. But it's another thing being able to practically do this. So with our philosophy, we've embedded all these competencies within all of our learning, some more than others, but the way we practically provide this is through what we call a process of competency building. So if any of you have ever taken an online course or something e-learning, or even in person as well through university level, you'll see a lot of the focus is on the knowledge component. And an aspect that a lot of learning has gotten wrong is that knowledge is the key to competency building. It's a crucial factor, but it's not what truly builds competence. What we've identified is you need to have these three key areas as well to build competence. So knowledge, skills, and experience. And if you ask what our definition of competency is, since it's quite wide and vague, is we would love to see behavioral change. So being able to learn something and practically do it within your working environment or within your professional career. So once you go through a course that allows you to become more data literate, you see yourself in your professional career being able to use more reporting, being able to project more things on Excel, being able to use other tools like Tableau and SPSS and so forth when it comes to the data processing of it. So when it comes to our learning, we focus it around these three key components. When it comes to knowledge, you'll go through knowledge through video lessons. So these are, they're very much grounded in the academic foundation, and you'll have them through video lessons, reading materials, and at the end of each module to test if you've truly understood the material, you'll go through a quiz. So the quiz acts as a checkpoint to see, have I fully understood the material and am I comfortable and confident with the material before progressing? The second component would be skills through practice. And this is where you'll be able to go through practical assignments, case studies, and role plays in a safe learning environment. So in our LMS, we're able to practically and keep practicing these skills. And a quote that's closely tied to this is, you simply can't become a good cook by watching the cooking channel. You actively have to go into the kitchen and learn how to prepare that dish. Same with skills through practice. In order to try and perfect them, you proactively have to keep practicing. And the third component is experience through application. So we strive to be learning partners with the members of PVPA. And in doing so, we equip you with templates, toolkits, and checklists that you're able to immediately transfer into your working environment. How does this look like? So take, for instance, the business case template. When you go through the first two components or the mix of components of acquiring the knowledge on what business strategies to use, what key metrics to identify that link to the business itself and the business outcomes, you'll also go through the practical component, the skills component, where you're learning how to construct a business case. The third component would be the experiential component. So actively taking this business case template and immediately implementing it into your working environment and building a business case around that. In doing so, you're actually putting in real world application into your learning. And through that is where you start to experience experiential learning itself. But this is not enough to fully build competence, because a key area of competency building is also just making learning fun and practical. So this is a question to all of you again. What would make learning more fun or engaging for you? For this, you can unmute your mic and speak if you like, or you can type it in the chat function, and then hopefully Alsa or Renata will say it out to me.
Okay, for me personally, to use my knowledge in practice, make my learning more fun and for engaging for me.
Nice.
Some practical tasks and experiences during learning process, maybe, and teamwork, also some working groups.
Okay, nice. I like that. I hear a lot of practical experience, teamwork, working groups. Anything else? What makes learning fun and engaging for you guys?
Examples also. example stories about implementing what we are learning.
Nice. Example stories similar to case studies. Would you mean case studies, or would you mean, like, let's say another HR professional has an example or a story of how they implemented something?
A second one, I thought.
Okay, so like knowledge sharing and networking around that. Nice. Any final thoughts?
Maybe more engaging when you know that you will be tested at some point.
Okay, tested. Nice. Yeah, awesome. I like all of these, and they do resonate with what does make learning fun and engaging. There's a special piece for everyone when it comes to it, but how we really try to make learning fun and engaging is through our Academy platform. So what you would experience through our Academy platform is it's a digital academy, which means it's 100% online. That means all of our learning is self-paced, and you can schedule it around your own availability and flexibility. You'll have access to a large resource library where you're able to find all of these examples, story material, case studies, tools, templates, and guides that will assist you in your personal development. But what we also see is, as much as it's self-paced and 100% online, learning should not be done alone. You should always be given an option to also learn with a community and to also learn with your peers. So that's where aspect number 3 comes, a community. So we have a large community of tens of thousands of HR professionals from all around the world who share these best practices, share win stories from their organizations, and like to network and give peer-to-peer reviews and feedback on certain aspects. So for instance, I think it was just about last week, I saw someone talking about how the pandemic has impacted their onboarding. So it's a hard switch from onboarding online to onboarding in person in the office. And they saw that new hires were leaving much, much earlier than what they would ever expect due to the onboarding, due to them not being able to feel the culture, due to everything being online. Someone in the community themselves, who was a head of HR, shared a win case from their company and how they transitioned onboarding that to have aspects of their company culture into it, to keep it engaging, to have these virtual sessions where they can get to meet the team and still stay connected and still have relevant touches, like it's almost human interaction. And from there, they've seen that employees, I think when they did an NPS survey, actually rated working from home and the whole online and onboarding experience much better than when it was in person. So this is just like one of many win stories that people love to share and love to give practical advice about. So I personally have a bias and favoritism over the community within our academy. The other key components are just learning bites, so quick short videos that you can access to get quick information. You also have a career center. So I've done a kickoff before, and a lot of people like to know, okay, I'm going through a course, I'm going to get a set amount of skills, be it knowledge, be it experience, be it skills, whatever, practical. What do I do with this afterwards? Yeah, I do get a certificate that shows them this, I have the relevant skills, but do I get assistance in this afterwards? And yeah, we do assist with that. We have a career center where you can learn how to leverage these skills into your professional environment, where you can also see other opportunities that are open around the globe when it comes to career next steps and so forth, and how to just position yourself in a better light or in today's current HR environment. So that's also a component that would make it more engaging and fun. You'll also have a personal coach. So a personal coach is a real individual, such as myself. They'll sit with you in a phone call or a Microsoft Teams meet or Zoom meet, whichever you prefer, to just give you structure on your learning, to create a learning journey with you. But more importantly, just to understand why are you making this investment in learning? Like, what's your goal? What's your outcome? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? Or what impact is this learning going to have on your career? And what would you like to do with it? And from there, they really build that journey for you to get to where you want. They can also be an accountability partner, because we all know 2 years of being online, it's easy to be on an online platform, then seep into your chair, watch a movie, or just get lost. You'll have that odd message from them saying, hey, are we hitting our goals? By week 6, we said we wanted to be at this stage and we're far behind. What's going on? So you can also opt for them to be an accountability partner. So all these aspects of how we've surveyed to see how learning can be fun and engaging. And I think from the few responses I got, it does have a lot of aspects there when it comes to, if you want to work in teams, or if you want to work in small group settings and just share your progress with the community, that's possible. If you want practical and experiential learning, this is there. And if you want to actually hear real life examples, stories and case studies from your peers or people who've been in it much longer or much shorter, it's all there, and it just keeps it more fresh, engaging, and relevant. So that's our platform. And the most important question, something I probably should have asked at the very beginning of this, is how important is learning to me? I'll make it easy for you. You can go ABC, and you can be honest about it. Also, I think I'm going to ask you one last time to just help me with this, with the shouts.
I'm still waiting to see something. I see A, B, one more B. No, yeah, one more B. So 2 Bs and 1 A. Someone else? Our people are not very active today.
No, not to worry. That's perfect. I think the 3 votes would represent the entirety of the community. So learning is a top priority, I believe. And this is one of the many reasons why PBPA and AIHR got into partnership. And that's to facilitate and improve learning, to provide you with an additional option to upskilling your HR career and future-proofing your career in HR. And I believe you're all aware of this. How we've set this up is to provide you with an exclusive discount to our Academy Learning that's accessible through the PBPA partner page. If you haven't been, it's very practical. Apart from it just providing you the learning options, it also provides you with customer reviews, so you can see firsthand information into how some people have experienced certain courses. Also, there's a frequently asked questions site, and also a site where you can arrange a demo or have a chat with one of the admissions advisors to really see which program fits you, which program would you like when you have a relevant skill gap that you'd like to fill. And not to worry, because we have a program for everyone. Our portfolio almost covers every aspect of HR, and we try to go as in-depth as possible. So be you more strategic on the HR business partnering side, or more specialized in L&D, compensation and benefits, or you're leading a team yourself and you'd like to understand more about strategic leadership and so forth, there is always a program for you here. And if not, it's probably in the process of being made. So this is what I had to share. I hope now the image of the cow is a bit more clear on why we're in partnership and how PVPA and us both see how the future of HR is heading to being T-shaped and why this is important. Any questions? I think I'm going to switch the screen. Hello.
So anyone, if you are doubting or have any questions, it's a perfect time to ask Nyasha about all of this. And Nyasha, how do you feel actually about, usually HR people, they are the ones who want to network, to be together as much as possible. And I think that's why we still have quite a lot of people coming to our trainings, and they want to meet in person and to be in one room while learning. So how usually everyone feels about just learning everything just online?
If I understand correctly, it's how do people feel about online learning?
Yeah, because it's just absolutely exclusively online,
Indeed. Yeah. So we try. So yes, before the pandemic, I think online learning was not as popular as it was. If you have the option to be in person, you'd love to meet people in person and just go about life like that. What we've tried to do is we've tried to make it as practical as possible when it comes to real world interactions. So that's why you do have access to a community, you do have access to a personal coach, you do have access to your instructors as well. So you're able to still see them face to face if you're doing it virtually, but you're still having those same interactions in group settings like it's almost a in-person setting. The benefits of online just makes it a bit more flexible, because we've seen that when it comes to also being a full-time working professional or in transition, you don't have as much flexibility to schedule things around your work life. So given the option of having a long access period and scheduling it around your own personal availability and flexibility is also a big plus. Yeah.
And what courses, let's say, this year are the most popular? What HR people are learning the most?
It differs from country to country. So we operate globally. I would say in the US, we've seen it has picked up to be a lot of diversity and inclusion, but also around analytics and business partnering. So those were two key things that HR was falling behind when we saw in the US, which was being able to use data and also being strategic in the organization itself. In Europe, it differs from country to country. It's very diverse. But I would say just the data-driven aspect is usually one of the most popular ones that most people don't have. If you're aware, we've recently done a research on, I think it was 10,000 HR professionals who filled out our T-shaped assessment framework. And we saw across 3 of the competencies that only 2 out of 10 HR professionals were T-shaped. So only 2 out of every 10 HR professional could comfortably say that they have a nice competence or nice range of competence within those 4 key areas. So I think there's still a lot of work, and that's just evident in the way organizations are growing and the way the future of work is looking. And it's just proactively building towards becoming more T-shaped. And that also adds on to something when it comes on to building, to becoming more T-shaped. I'm not too sure if Alsa already shared this with you, but you will, after this session, have access to our T-shaped HR assessment framework. So it's a free assessment that we're providing to PVPA. And here you can see the level of T-shaped you are. So it asks you a variety of practical questions around each component. So how often do you use data? How often do you base a lot of the things you do on KPIs and so forth to see how T-shaped you are? And it gives you recommendations on how to bridge these skill gaps if you don't satisfy a certain level of competence. I think I can drop that link in now, and also probably send it to you afterwards.
Okay. And I'm just thinking maybe once more to be absolutely clear, if someone is interested in some trainings, but still not absolutely sure which one to pick or from which topics to start, so what would you recommend? First steps, what to do?
First steps, what to do. So I cannot just recommend out of the blue, but what we do is we do have admissions advisors who will help you through this process. So if you have no clue, don't panic. That's perfectly fine. You can schedule a quick call or a demo with them. They would love to understand where you are in your HR career, where you see yourself in the future, and what you need to get there. And they'll give you a variety of choices for courses, and you can select which best suits your preferences. An alternative option as well is doing the assessment to see where you actually stand competency-wise. And from having that realization, you know which areas to work on, and it's just more focused and targeted.
Okay, anyone? So do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a question about personal coach possibility. So if we are talking about the full packet, so how often usually the user can have like a personal coach consultation?
So that's so all of our access packages are 12 months. So you'll have access throughout the 12 months. So at any point in time, you can reach out to your coach to schedule a meeting, a call, or email them. They respond relatively quick. I think the response rate is under 10 hours now. So you'll naturally, if you email something in the morning, you'll probably most likely get a response that exact same day.
Okay, thank you.
It's a pity we don't have any people who already had your courses yet, but I hope maybe in several months we will have someone to be able to share their personal experience. Then I think it would be so valuable for anyone still thinking, doubting if it's good enough. Yeah, so anyone, if you are trying, just please let me or Renata know, just to be able to ask you about all your trip, all the voyage through this AIHR platform and courses. So anyone, any more questions? Because if we don't have any more questions today, you can always ask me or Renata how to contact Nyasha and someone else on AIHR team. And they will answer all the questions you have. So, and our today's meeting is kind of our very first meeting kind of in person with you. Yeah, and our trip is just beginning.
It is indeed. We're very much looking forward to 2022. We have a lot of exciting projects lined up. I think the next program is going to be an HR generalist program. So awesome for people working with teams or trying to figure out how can I be an HR team of 1, but eventually become an HR team of 10. So that's an exciting program that we have in the pipeline. And yeah, looking forward to sharing.
Great. So thanks a lot for today. And everyone, don't even doubt, just contact us on Nyasha and try some course. And of course, share your experience.
Indeed. Curious to know the results you get from the Tshaped HR assessment. So feel free to share that with me as well.